Just happy to see our guys bounce back the other night, and offensively we're balanced with the run and pass 299 and 299. And defensively had some key turnovers there and had a fourth down stop on the goal line, had a good goal line stand, and the turnovers and sacks was really big because when you get the ball back for our offense the way we were playing in the second half, we're able to generate points. We know this is going to be a tough road test for us this week. Have to go up to West Virginia, and anytime you're on the road, you got to have your focus. We can't have any distractions. Have not played well on the road. Expect our team to go out and it starts this week in practice because if we make it tough on them in practice, then you expect it to carry on to the game. And it's got to be a build-up where the preparation, the execution, and it's each and every day from Tuesday to Wednesday to Thursday, even to Friday, and then to get there on Saturday and go play the game. Knowing this, you got to play with energy, got to play with passion, got to have some emotion, got to go out and compete, and to just play with a lot of confidence. And our players understand how important this game is, and just knowing how pivotal it is right now at this point in the season.
Start with Anwar on the right.
Hey, Coach, I know you're a one game, at a time type of person, but when you only got a couple of games left, do you have to turn up the intensity level and start talking about the bowl, importancy and really start hammering in with these guys?
And I said to our coaches, even our players, I said, we have to get our seniors to a bowl game, and it's critical now. We sitting there with 3 left, and we got to go win 2 of the next 3, and it's a one-game season, but they understand they have to go get 2 of the next 3.
Rear on your left, Mike.
Charlie, I'm not sure how much you can change about road trips, but considering how badly they've gone so far, is there anything you can just totally alter in terms of how you travel, how you prepare, or you just got to stick with what you're doing?
No, our guys, they just have to understand just how important. They do understand how important it is, but I don't know if you need to change up anything. It's all about just a build-up, and the build-up's got to start at practice, and it's got to carry on. You look at us and we go beat Kansas State, and then for some reason, you're going into Iowa State, you expect to go play well, and we don't go play well there. But I think they know in this how important this game is. So even last night when we went to work, didn't have to say much because they went out and they were locked in and focused, and they understood just how big this game is.
Stay in the middle, Dennis.
Coach, you mentioned balance. Do you feel like you threw it effectively enough against Kansas to at least keep West Virginia honest?
Well, the thing we want to do, Dennis, and we know this, we can run the football in the first half the other night. I think we had 37 yards rushing, and in the second half we were able to bounce back and get to over 200 yards. So we need to establish the run, and we didn't do it. We opened up with a big throw to Burt, and then he was able to hit 5 down the middle of it. But we still got to make the throws, and we know this. We got to be more effective in the passing game and just continue to build on it.
Middle, Roger.
Charlie kind of joked after the game, keep treating us like we're coming off a loss, not a win. Was that your approach to the team a little bit yesterday?
It has to be because you know what it is, Roger. It's just when you're dealing with a young team, you can't build them up, and because I think a lot of times they start believing it and they listen to it. I think the more that we just stay on them and just keep driving them and don't even look at this game. Hey, so listen, guys, go get the next one. Don't even worry about what we just did. Even I didn't even show them any highlights. Usually on Sundays I show them highlights. I didn't even show it to them. I said, hey, we got our focus is on West Virginia. Don't worry about the last one. Let's go get the next one.
Coach Jay told us after the game that this has been a real frustrating group because they're not playing up to the level you think they can, and he said you've kind of had to keep the thumb on them because their attention drifts at times. How big of a challenge has it been with this group to get them to focus in consistently?
You know, it is. Well, when you don't have a good mixture of older guys and guys that can really look at it and say, hey, listen, we got to get focused. We got to get locked in. This is what we have to do. Even when we went to Iowa State, Jay Grace stood up in front of the team and told them about the environment, how tough it is. The last time we went up there, this is how tight the game was. And so with young guys, they kind of sit there and they say, oh, well, we'll see. And they don't really get it till they get there. And even with the preparation, it's almost where you just got to stay on them. And that's what I tell our coaches all the time. Don't ever think they know anything. Just treat them like they don't, and just go over it each and every day. And they may say, well, I got it. Well, we'll see if they have it or not. It's so funny because, with Vance, we can go out there and we can go through routes, and you get into a game and you see the same route, and you just look at them and say, okay, you saw the formation and you know what they do out of that formation. Well, Coach, I was, no, 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 no. You don't have, this is what you're going to get. Well, they will give you that as well. I thought, no, you don't have to think this is what they're going to do. But it's almost where it's just you had to constantly just stay on them, and especially in the secondary when you're playing with so many young guys.
On your left, Kirk.
Charlie, as far as road places to go, how would you evaluate Morgantown as far as how tough it is?
Oh, it's a tough place. I know that when we were at Louisville, we went up there to play them, and you know, no matter what time the game is, it doesn't matter. They're going to be there. The crowd is going to be there, and they're going to come out and support their team. And even I told our players, I said it's tough. It's tough to get in there, but you know when we get there, it's all about us just locking in and being focused because it's going to be a tough environment. You guys expect it, and we're going to have to go out and play well.
On the left, Jane.
Why do you think Texas has struggled on the road?
It's when you're dealing with a group that we have, Jane. It's that we can play better, and we just haven't played better.
Stay in the left center.
Charlie, West Virginia's been involved in a lot of shootouts over the last couple of years. Do you think your team is equipped to go in and play in one of those 45, 44 type games?
If we can score the points we scored the other night, I think we can go in and play that shootout. But we're going to have to be productive on offense. But defensively, we're going to have to play well, too. It's, you know, a lot of times you get in those shootout games, you know, you give up big plays, and we're going to have to eliminate the big plays on defense and make them earn everything they get, make them drive the football. And they're a team that loves to run the ball. You look at the last game against Tech, I think they rushed for over 50 times. You know, they rushed the football. So they're going to – I noticed they want to establish the run. So we just can't let them play action pass and throw the ball deep down the field.
Stay in the left, Alex.
Hey, Coach. Deontay Foreman's been so good. Do you guys – is there a reason why – Jonathan Gray keeps getting the majority of the touches? I know that Deontay's been a little bit hurt, but is that because he's a senior, because you guys see more out of him? And then also just if you have any updates about any injuries from the game. I saw that Chris Warren wasn't dressed out, like him and Edwin Freeman or anybody else that who could be out, you could be expecting back.
Well, the second part of the question, Warren had an ankle injury. He'll be back. Most of our guys, we're a healthy team with the exception of Delatorre, and he's going to practice later on this weekend, so we should get Della back by the game time. But when you talk about with Jay Gray and, you know, the thing is we don't count the number of touches. I think the other night he ran at 7, and the big man ran at 12, maybe Deontay. So it's, you know, Deontay, both of those guys are excellent backs. The thing about Jay Gray is the leadership he provides. He's a senior, and so it's not, you know, you look at the separation, one's better than the other, and they both kind of play.
The back, Steve.
Coach, you keep telling us about young players, but here we are, we're 9 games through the season, Coach. You know, 3/4 of the way through. I mean, these guys have got to be growing up by now, don't they?
Well, they're still, even though you're 9 into it, Steve, and you can think they're growing up, but do they really grow up? You know, some guys are still seniors that act like freshmen. But no, you know, I do say young players, but it's still about them just staying focused and staying locked in. And you're right. I tell a guy after he plays 1 or 2 games, you're no longer a freshman. It's time for you to grow up. And a lot of them have grown up, but you're still dealing with a lot of who are not starters that you're counting on, and they're the ones who you just need to continue to stay on top of.
On your left, John.
Coach, after what happened at Iowa State and just on the road in general, what makes you think they understand how critical this week is on the road?
Well, it's so much, John. They've been beat up so much about it, and they've heard about it so much. So it's they understand how critical it is. With each game, you know, we haven't played well on the road, but even when we come at home, you know, we drop 2 at home. So it's more of us just putting it all together and playing good in all 3 phases, which we haven't done. You know, and we need to get off to a good start. If we get off to a good start, and the quarterback plays well, then that's what's gonna. You know, it lies on the quarterback. If he plays well, then we're going to get off to a good start.
Stay on the left, Jeff.
Charlie, I know you talked about the importance of these 2 games and the stretch run, but it's also getting to be an important time in recruiting with kids wanting to take official visits and things like that. How much of a balancing act is it, and how much multitasking do you have to do now that recruiting is starting to pick up as we get into November and December?
Jeff, there's still a ton of recruits out there. We had a lot of them here on the other night. The recruiting process, it's going to take care of itself. We're going to get who we're going to get, and we're going to get some really good players. So it's, it is a balancing act. And some guys who are the mid-semester guys, you got to get them in here in December so they can get a look before they make their decision. But I feel really good about recruiting right now.
Coach, it seems like every time you guys throw the ball to John Burt, something good happens. So is that something you guys got to look at and say, somehow we got to get this kid a little bit more involved?
Yeah, the thing about Bird, he's a threat, and he can he can make things happen when the ball's in the air. He can go up and get it, and he can make the catches. Anytime you throw the ball, it's in his vicinity, he's going to come down with it. And look at the first play the other night, and been able to throw him some bubbles. But the ball, we're trying to get the ball in his hands, and it's just a matter of us making that throw and getting it to him.
Charlie, another recruiting question, if you will. What is your message to offensive players who might be concerned about who's going to be the play caller, what the system's going to look like, who the coaches are going to be?
Well, you know what happens too, Ryan. The university sells itself a lot, so a lot of times when we talk to recruits, it's their concern is, hey, coach, not so much who the play caller is, but how do I fit in, what position I want to play, really, what number do I want? That's a key thing. What number can I get? It's the first thing I ask them because it's what a lot of them want to know. But when you look at the recruiting process, we'll be fine. And because those guys, they understand it, and they see it, and they understand what's going on.
Coach, you bring up fast start, and what can you do just to raise the probability that you might have one? Do you script plays on offense? What do you do to make sure that you don't get that slow start, especially on the road?
Well, you like to start off like we did the other night, throw that ball down the field, let Burt go get it, and let him go run it down. But what you like to do anytime you're on the road is just you need to establish and get first downs and just move the ball. Then when the opportunities presents itself where you can go over the top of it, go take a throw down the field. But you have to move the ball and stay. Our offense needs to stay on the field. It can't be one of those 3 and outs and turn the ball over. Then all of a sudden here they come with some momentum. And, you can go out there on defense and stop them. You make them punt the ball back away. But offensively, we got to establish. And once you create first downs, then it's going to lead to touchdowns.
Ahead of the game, Vance Bedford and Jane Orville both told me that a lot of the young guys were going to get more opportunities against Kansas, and we saw that. One of those guys that stood out was Deshaun Elliott. Why did it take so long to get him more involved in the game plan?
Well, Jane, he was hurt the first part of the season. So when he missed the first 6 weeks of the season. So that was tough, so he had to get back and get to learn it.
Did he do enough in that game to earn some more playing time?
Well, it depends on how the game is going to go. I mean, you're looking at 2 vets with 14 and 31. So we're going to play the young guys. It just depends on the flow of the game.
Charlie, on your protocol for the road, you're not changing anything like an intense movie or bringing Navy SEALs or anything?
I need to bring in Navy SEALs and let them just kind of ratchet up a little, huh? But no, you know what we need to do, Kurt, is not. It isn't so much what we do; it's just how our guys handle it. And I say this, and not to make an excuse, we didn't get into when we went out to play Iowa State. We didn't get into Ames until like 9:30, 10 o'clock that night because of the weather that was here that day. But that's no excuse of why we lost the game because we had all day on Saturday to get prepared for it. But usually with an early start, the guys don't have much. You get them in, and the time when they get up, it's time to go play, so they don't have to sit around all day.
Charlie, you got Howard who can run the ball, Smallwood, Shell. Can you just speak to their run game and how effective they are?
Well, you look at when you think about Howard, the thing he does, he's sitting there and he can make the throws, but also he can pull it down and run with it. A very good dual quarterback. And then when you look at Smallwood, there's a back that has a lot of speed. Has made some big long runs. I think he broke a couple against some of the opponents. And then you look at Shell, just a power back. I remember facing him when we were at Louisville. He was at Pittsburgh before he transferred over to West Virginia. But, you're looking at 3 guys, and I think they're going to run the football. And then the Smallwood's averaging over 100 yards rushing, so we're going to have to stop the run. I mean, we in order for us to win this game, we got to go stop the run.
Hey, Coach. About Malik, is he what was going on with him, and is everything okay, like, moving forward? Do you expect him to miss any practice this week? Was it like a stomach issue or something?
Was that Malik? Yeah. Malik's fine. He'll be okay.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know if you were waiting on that. I'm just curious if you talked to Shaka before they went to China and kind of what your thoughts would be on opening the season overseas.
Yeah, actually, I spoke to Shaka before he left, and he was just calling to wish us luck on the game. But now I don't know about opening games overseas. You know, I love playing right here. We need to get into Houston, sad, huh?
Coach, with so many young players in the secondary, how much of a role model and leader have you seen, or has Duke Thomas been to the younger players?
Duke has been great for the young players, and they just all gravitate to him, and he's done a really good job. And the thing you like about Duke, there's no ego, and we've moved him around so much. He's played corner, and when we go to our what we call our speed package, he's one of our linebackers, a guy who's in drop, guy who blitzes. But he does a great job just coaching. If you ever come out to practice, always coaching them. You know, whether it be Houghton Hill or whether it be Boyd or Davis, all three of those guys, he's coaching them up. The other day we were standing out there during a walkthrough, and I saw he had Elliott back there in PJ where he was, telling them, hey, when we call this coverage, this is what you got to look for. If you're watching a game, anytime a short split, he's yelling it to let them know, hey, short split here, let them know what route is coming. So they'll get locked in. Because a lot of times those guys just line up. You know, they don't see the split of the receiver. They just know, hey, I got to go cover that guy. But a lot of times splits will tell you what the route's coming.
And Charlie, I know you follow boxing. Why has it been so hard for your team to bounce back after they take that first shot in the mouth? And how much have you impressed upon them that could happen this week and that they're going to have to be ready for that?
Well, and that's the thing. We got to keep preaching to them, said that, we play well. We can't let one fall. You got to continue to play, just continue to just get better. And the only way that happens is you got to be prepared for it, and you don't listen to what everyone says, and you don't need to have a pat on the back. It's all about just continuing to go get the next one and work hard to go get the next one and stay focused and stay locked in.
Charlie, you mentioned going to the bowl game for the seniors, but that's a pretty big deal for the program as a whole and for the younger guys too, right, in terms of the practices that you get and building for next year?
Oh, it is, and it's good because you really know, now that you play so many young guys, the bowl games, when you talk about practices, you know who the players are now. It used to be a time when those guys were all redshirted, which we don't have many. We done played most of them. So now those guys have played, and they're really locked into it. And so you don't have to, worry about so much when you get to a bowl game, like, hey, we need to see if this guy can play. We know who the players are now. But you want to extend your season. You want the practices.
Coach, you guys get out to the good start that you say you wanted, get a nice lead, then Kansas kind of gets back into it. How do you teach a team to keep mashing the gas when you got them down?
Yeah, we got up, John, in that game, and then we let them into it with some throws. Then we turned the ball over down there. And the thing is, you just got to keep playing. And our guys, you can't ever relax. Don't ever look at. You try to tell them, don't ever look at the scoreboard. Just play. You have to get better each and every play, and don't worry about the opponent. It's all about how you play and how you go about it. And to let them back into it, but just see us make the goal line stand, and then them missing that field goal right there at the end probably gave us momentum to come back out the second half and go play as well as we did.
On the right, Chip.
Charlie, what do you like most about your offense right now, and what concerns you the most?
Well, there's always concerns because in this, when you don't move the ball, you don't score points, and that's always a concern for you. But it's as long as our quarterback continue to improve. The other night we threw the ball well, which we didn't do it a week ago, and then we just running the football is what you really like, because I think that we're a physical team, and when we come off the ball, you got two big backs. I mean, Jay Gray's a small back, but when we get Warren back, you have him and Foreman, who are two big backs that can pound people, and you can run the football and be physical at the point of attack.
Back left, Steve.
Coach, at the start of the season, you look at the way the schedule works out, and we all kind of thought that this was going to be the week that you guys had to make or break for y'all. I mean, and here you are. I know you're.
I'm glad you told me that. Steve. You should have told me that. You should have told me that at the beginning of the season, huh?
But do you attack this game as a different mindset because of how important it is?
Oh, it's important, and you hate to, and it's no denying it. And our guy and our players understand that, and then that's why on Sunday, like I said, on Sunday, what we usually do is we focus on the game before, and then you go through it to just pick up the big plays and show them, it's offense, defense, special teams. But I didn't do any of that yesterday. What I did is I just got up and talked about the guys who played well on offense, guys who play well on defense, guys who play well on special teams, and I said we'll bury this game and let's get on to West Virginia right now, because we usually don't start the West Virginia prep until Tuesday.
Charlie, Duke said you went to him before the game about wearing number 28. What was your thought process on that? And also, the guys seem to really like the throwback uniforms. Is that a look that you might keep in the rotation and maybe bring it out once a year?
They told you that, Jeff. They told me they didn't want that throwback. No, because Freddie meant so much to this program, and our players had a chance to see the movie. We took the upperclassmen first, then we took the freshmen, because usually when we walk out and we hit his picture down there, now they know what it really means. And when you talk about his passion and the way he played the game. And so I told Duke, I said, I want you to wear number 28 because you're a defensive back, and just the way he's played this season and how he's wit about it. Because a lot of times guys get to their senior year and they don't play hard. Duke has done it. He's been one of our most consistent players. And I just wanted them just to realize what was going on that day. I didn't even say much to them until I said, right before we were at the hotel, and I was talking about, hey, when we get out on the field, there's going to be a dedication, and there's some of the players that are going to be out on the field. I want y'all guys to walk up, shake their hand. And they didn't even know anything about the jerseys or the pants or anything. I didn't say anything to them. We go out and warm up, then we come back in, and then I say, this is our uniform, and this way we're going to go play tonight. If you got some of you don't feel like you can play like this, just stay in here. I don't need you out there. I don't want you out there. But it was when they saw it, they all start jumping and screaming. But you know how some guys are. Well, my shoes aren't broken in, but hey, let me tell you this: for some of you, you ain't gonna play that much anyway, so they won't get broken in. But the guys who do play, then put some water in there; it'll soften up for you.
On your left.
Charlie, I don't know how much you follow what's going on at Missouri with some of the players refusing to practice and do any football activities. I'd just like to know how you feel about college athletes taking such strong stands on social issues.
Well, if you look at it, and they have such a strong voice on campus, and so many people look to them whenever there is an issue, but I haven't really followed what has happened at Missouri. But, anytime an athlete take a stand on a social issue, then you know that you're going to garner a lot of attention, because people do follow athletes, and they want to hear what their message is, and making sure it's the right message and they're doing the right thing.
Charlie, I know you like to have the upperclassmen do things first, and I know it's been a transition year in terms of the leadership and everything, but how do you balance that? And when you played all the young players Saturday night, was there a message to the older guys before that game that we're going to be playing more young guys?
No, Chip, the players, the thing you realize, players know players, and they know who the good players are. So you don't ever have to, when they understand that as a coach, that you're not saying, hey, I'm playing this guy because we recruited this guy and he's a young guy. No. They see it at practice. They watch guys work. And you look out there with our two corners, with those two, they've played well all season long. Actually, the three corners we played, Malik has played well. You start two offensive linemen. But you don't ever want to get into, where you're playing one against the other, where you feel like the upperclassmen, thinking, hey, he's going to go the route of a young player. But they understand it. They know who the good players are. You don't have to say much because they know it right away.
Charlie, you said some of the seniors tend to maybe check out a little bit, and then you got a guy like Peter Jenkins, kind of this year's version of John Harris. Not only production, but I remember after the Cal game, he was very supportive of Nick Rose. What switch has gone off with him this year?
And you know what happened, Roger, and that for some, not all seniors, but like you get a guy like Pete who comes into a senior year and just have an unbelievable season. And I told him that just the other day. I said, you know what, Pete, I'm just so happy to see you step up and become that guy finally, because it was always there. But that light finally came on your senior year when but you look at, he's having an unbelievable year. Duke is playing well. But Taylor Doyle is having a really good year, Seth Flowers. But, most of the seniors that are playing, even DeJay, look at the turn that he's made. But the guys that are playing are having a good year for us. And that's why when Chip asked a question about the young guys, you have such a good collection of seniors that it doesn't bother them when they see young guys out on the field because some of them are helping them. So now with that happening, then they realize that, hey, I need to help develop this young guy because if we get this guy developed the right way, then he's going to help us because they're just looking for guys to help them. And it's not about, what class they are. Just, hey, if he's a good player, put him out there, coach. And then I tell them all the time, guys, I'm going to play the best player. I'm not one of those guys going to walk in there. I know some of you guys are seniors and you've been there a long time, but everybody wants the best players on the field. Even you as a teammate want that to happen.